We're moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice President,
Chris,
no.
can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
No,
He stood up.
No,
he stood up,
the answer to
and
the
he
question is no.
threatened Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion, if you don't
That
get rid of
is
the
absolutely
you know what, you're- wait,
not
stop.
You're
true.
on tape doing it.
You're going to
You're on
have
tape.
True.
Gentlemen. I hate to raise
Chris,
my voice,
he's
but I
on
see it
tape.
seems to be, why shouldn't I be different than the two of you? So here's the deal.
Good point.
Rana, what were you thinking when that? I know what I was thinking when that debate was taking place. It looked like it was 2-on-1. It was Joe Biden and Chris Wallace, who now works at CNN, by the way, versus Donald Trump. What did you make of that very first debate?
It's just been a history of the CPD allowing moderators to roll over Republican candidates. Let's go back to Candy Crowley when she interjected herself in the 2012 debates. So the RNC went to the CPD and said, we need guarantees for our voters, for the American people, for the 74 million Republicans, that you're not going to pick biased moderators, that you're going to let us have a voice in that you're not going to have a debate start after 26 states had started voting, which is what happened in 2020.
Right.
And they told the RNC, we don't work with you. We don't care what the Republican National Committee says. And so we're taking this step so that we can find a venue and a forum that is fair, and we can start that process now.
Rana, I know that our readers at the Washington Times and the base was really excited to see the RNC stepping up and taking this position, especially after last year's cancellation of debates, going virtual, the cutting of mics, et cetera, et cetera. However, what has the response from the commission been thus far? And is this a negotiating tactic? Or are you really threatening these candidates or getting these candidates to sign on to just do away with the commission altogether?
Well, let me just start. This was not knee-jerk. We've had a year of discussions with the commission. I've met with them. We did this behind the scenes. We weren't trying to make this a public discussion, and we really wanted to fix a couple things. One, picking a moderator that worked for Joe Biden, which happened in 2020. We wanted assurances that they wouldn't do that again. Starting debates before 26 states started voting. And then also, many of their commission members were openly critical of Donald Trump. And we don't think that's right. They should have a code of conduct. Really simple, reasonable requests. And after a year of negotiating and back and forth, their final response came to us in December and said, we will not assure you on any of these things. We do not work with the Republican National Committee, and we're not going to address any of your concerns. The problem is they say they work with the candidate. Well, the candidate and the nominee is not in place until July or August of 2024, and by then it's too late. So the RNC has a real process right now that's going forward, and that's why we needed to take these steps now. But it has been deliberate and thoughtful and not knee-jerk, and I think very, very reasonable. I think most Americans would agree. We should have debates before 26 states start voting.
Absolutely.
Ron, I worked on the Ted Cruz campaign in Iowa, and at that time, candidate Trump skipped one of the debates in Iowa. Did he influence this decision on possibly skipping these presidential debates in 2024?
He did not. I mean, President Trump always wants to debate, but he also says, I'm not going to debate in unfair forums. And that's why the second debate that the CPD put forward when they switched it to virtual without talking to the candidates, he skipped, but he had a very successful town hall with Savannah Guthrie. So I think his actions have shown the Republican Party we don't have to keep locking our candidate into a biased forum, because we know we win with a free and fair exchange of ideas without a biased moderator.
Very successful with Savannah Guthrie because of Donald Trump. Savannah had an agenda, I thought, during that exchange, that interview, if you want to call it that. I thought that she was, again, it just feels like you get these legacy media hacks in there, like Chris Wallace, who literally now works at CNN, and it was 2-on-1, and this has gone on for a long time. So my question, what does this mean for 2024? Because the debates are big. If you want to go back to the very first televised debates ever, also put together by the Commission on Presidential Debates, Nixon-Kennedy, you could argue that without those debates, JFK doesn't get elected president. They really helped him get elected. And the debates they're also must-watch TV in many respects. So do you think we still will have debates come 2024?
Absolutely. We need debates. We're committed to working to find a way to have debates. This now opens the door for other people to come forward and say, how can we work with you? Networks, chambers of commerce, individual states, individual universities, and come to the RNC and DNC and work with us directly without a middleman. governors and senators across the country debate without a commission. It's time for the Republican nominee to be able to do the same thing.
Ronna, will you loosely commit right now to allowing Newsmax to have a role in the 2024 debates? I would love to be on the panel to moderate one of these things. I would love to do that.
I think the thing is we should be open to having conservative. You know, the Democrats had Anderson Cooper as one of the debate moderators in 2016. So what are they so afraid of? You know, what they said to us was, what are you afraid of about these debates? I think it's the reverse. Why do you want your candidate to debate after 26 states had started voting? Why do you need a moderator who worked for you? And I think it's time for conservative moderators to have a voice in debates as well.
Great point. And I think, honestly, everyone's biased. But the question is, in that setting, can you be fair? Can you be objective? And I don't think that was the case, especially when it comes to Chris Wallace as the most recent example. Ronna McDaniel, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.